Auburn quarterback Payton Thorne joins us each week, courtesy of Roback. All your game day gear, great pullovers, wonderful golf shirts and pants, all at Roback.com. Use code TNR20 to save 20% off your initial order at Roback.com. First of all, Payton, I hope you're doing well today. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Thank you. It's got to feel strange. This is the second time you guys have had a bye this year, which is a new part of our college football calendar here. So that's, I guess, got to be good, but kind of weird too. You've never really dealt with this.
Yeah, it is weird. Obviously, you don't do it in high school, and then the first time in college we've done it. So it's kind of nice, honestly. Breaks up the season a little bit. I'm surprised that the NFL, with all the games they play, only has one bye week. But maybe that'll be something that gets changed down the road.
When you lose 5 of 6, when does anger creep into the equation? Like, I know as a leader, you've got to have composure, but that's a natural emotion when you guys are struggling like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's already been present. It's not something that it's just showing up now, and so something you got to learn how to deal with, and obviously deal with it productively, and not let it distract you from what needs to be done, and not let it break things apart within the locker room, within the team.
My senior year, my coach told me as we hit a down part of the season, we may start working some younger guys in because I'm sorry to you seniors, but we got to plan for the future. Any discussion about that at all, or is it still best player up here for Auburn? If you've won that position, we're just trying to win the next game. How's the discussion in the locker room about playing time down the stretch?
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything like that. Obviously, we have a fairly young team already, and we got a lot of young guys that have been playing all season. But yeah, I think that the goal is still just to win the game at hand. And so obviously, like you guys said, we got an open week here, and then Louisiana Monroe next week, and our goal is we need to win that one, and then play Texas A&M at home after that, and need to win that one too before we go on the road to Bama. So I haven't heard anything about that. That's obviously up to the coaches, but everybody needs to be ready to go and keep preparing like we have been the whole season.
Payton Thorne is with us, the Auburn quarterback, and you can get all the Auburn coverage at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. Great original content there with Village Vice and the other shows with Kyle and Zach and Brad and the entire gang at thebarnauburn.com, on the Barn Auburn YouTube channel, and also go to the website. Join for $1 for the message board for the first month, thebarnauburn.com. Payton with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Obviously, there were a lot of questions after the game about Jarquez Hunter and his lack of usage in the second half, and Coach Freeze said that he just looked gassed to him. And I'm just curious, is that common? Like, do you look at a player and you're like, he just doesn't look right for some reason? And, I mean, maybe not know why, but is that a common occurrence that one of the top-line starters just looks off and he doesn't maybe get the rotation he normally does?
I don't know if I'd say it's common. You see it sometimes with certain guys, and most times it's because of injury. You see a guy kind of hopping a little bit. You can tell he's not at full speed. Maybe tweak something in the game, or maybe it's something from earlier in the season. And I'm not sure what the case is with Jarquez. I think he's doing good. So obviously that's more of a topic for coach, or for, I guess, the training staff, or Jarquez himself probably. But I can't really speak on how somebody else is feeling. With my relationship with them, I feel good with where he's at and where I'm at with him.
Have you felt gassed?
I felt gassed, like, for a play or two.
Okay. Yeah.
If I have a long run or something, or a long scramble, where you get hit in a certain way. For me, you're breathing kind of heavy, and you got to call the next play. Sometimes it's hard to actually get the words out, but it doesn't last for more than a play or two.
I was about to say, look, although this is going to be your last year, but I don't know if it is with COVID. Do you have another year?
No, this is it for me.
Okay.
It's been a longer run.
Well, with that said, yeah, look, I know you want the best for this program, and guys like Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson, when they're getting, sometimes one touch a game like they got this past weekend, how do you keep those guys engaged and let them know, hey, you guys are building a foundation here, future's bright?
Yeah, obviously you just try to be as positive as you can, while also being, realistic. Guys at this age, they can hear when things aren't genuine or when you're BSing them. So just being real with them and talking to them about what's really happening and just not being negative. I'm a big believer in not being negative. A lot of times people talk about positivity and how the power of positivity, and while that's true, sometimes there's nothing positive to be said, but it's better to just not say anything negative and just be. Something I learned is just being neutral and calling it what it is. And so I think that's a big thing, just not being negative and encouraging these guys to to stay in it.
I know you guys are a close-knit fraternity when it comes to quarterbacks. I want your quarterback mind here to explain to our viewers how tough it is to play quarterback in the SEC, because I'm looking at Carson Beck. He's got 11 interceptions in his last 3 games. I've watched Jalen Milroe at Alabama in a couple of games not play to what he does in other games. You look at Nussmeier in the second half against A&M, all of a sudden the interceptions come that way. I mean, all of you guys are just uber talented guys, but it seems to be more of a roller coaster this year of trying to put 4 quarters together. How much tougher has the quarterback position gotten in the SEC to play that position?
Yeah, obviously, I haven't watched the film on all those guys for those games. I've seen some of them, obviously, because we're preparing for opponents that they have played against. So I've seen that, but I haven't watched from start to finish, those games that you're talking about necessarily. So a lot of different things happen. And sometimes you can see as a quarterback, you watch the film, it's like, oh, wow, clearly that guy ran the wrong route, or, oh, wow, clearly he was throwing it into 3 guys, So there's different scenarios like that, but I think overall, you can see across pretty much all of college football, I feel like the scoring has been down, and so I think the defense. You go through these flows. I feel like in college football, at least in my life, I remember there was a time where it was like 50 points a game, and the Big 12 was like normal, and everybody was just running up and down the field. So I think the defenses have caught up a little bit to the offenses. This whole you have different types of offenses. Obviously, you got the RPO offense, you got the run and gun. You got all these different, types of schemes. And I think that defensive coordinators have kind of caught up to those and have found different ways of stopping them. And so, you're playing good players every week. And with NIL too, the new landscape of college football, I think it's as even as it's ever been across the playing field in terms of talent and stuff like that. So a lot of good players out there, a lot of good coaches on different teams. And so it's not easy. Like you said, there's a lot of different things that go into it. And also I think something that kind of goes into it is the whole idea of basically free agency every year. You're seeing less teams that have been playing with each other for a long time. And I think that does have something to do with offensive football. It makes it harder, and you got a lot of turnover in terms of coaches as well. So there's a lot of things that go into it, I'm sure, if you actually, broke it down and did all the research on it. But like you said, it's not easy. Some weeks it looks easier than other weeks, but you got to really execute each and every play to go down the field and put the ball in the end zone.
You're wearing a shirt that pays homage to the 95-96 Bulls, widely regarded as the greatest professional basketball team of all time. Do you know, you weren't alive, I know that, but do you know a lot about that team? Have you watched them or studied them? I know you said your dad told you about them.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, my dad grew up in Chicago, and I was a huge Bulls fan, and I'm a huge Bulls fan too. Derrick Rose was my guy growing up. I wish I could have watched the Bulls back in the 90s, but like you said, I wasn't around. So I watched The Last Dance, and I could watch that probably 15 times over, I think. Anything that comes out about Michael Jordan, I'm going to be glued to the TV. So, I love the Bulls, and it's pretty crazy to see, what they did back then.
Are you a Bears guy too?
I am. Yep. Bears, Bulls, Cubs.
So after that Hail Mary 2 weeks ago, were you watching that live?
I was at my place, and I had turned on, the last half of it, and I'm sitting there, and I texted my family after they had scored. There was like 30 seconds left. I said Bears win! ! Oh, I think so. I sent the next text. I said, I think so.
Oh no!
And then the next time I looked back, it was the Hail Mary, and my family they were at home. Their TV must have been a little ahead. They said it. They're saying, "Oh my gosh, no way!" And I'm like, no way, something crazy just happened. and they catch that. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is the first time in a little bit that I've been really pumped to be a Bears fan. And then that happens. I'm like, gosh dang it, man. What the heck?
Have you ever been on one side or the other of the Hail Mary?
I don't think so. I've thrown like 3 or 4 interceptions on Hail Marys, so that sucks. But I remember one of them back in Michigan State, the guy almost took it back. He almost took it 100 yards, and I had to make the tackle. So he jumped up, and then all of a sudden there was nobody in front of him. So he took off. So I, got a tackle under my belt for that one.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I saw Peyton Manning one time. Was like, God, I hated those end of the game Hail Marys. I'd always pick up like my second interception of the game.
Yeah.
Like a completely meaningless play, all right. Well, Peyton, we appreciate the time. Peyton has a scheduled off week next week. He is not going to be with us next Tuesday, so we'll pick it back up leading into the A&M game. So, Peyton, thank you very much for the time. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Take care. Bye week for Auburn. Peyton with us. And he joins us each week courtesy of thebarnauburn.com. That's where you go get all your Auburn information. The Barn Auburn YouTube page and thebarnauburn.com is the website. You go on that website. $1 is what you join for. thebarnauburn.com.